Today, we're going to learn about the phases of the moon. Like the Earth, the moon is a solid rock. Yet, it shines brightly in the night sky. Do you know why this happens? We know that the Earth absorbs light and heat from the sun. Similarly, the moon also absorbs light from the sun. Thus, at night when we see the moon, it appears bright because the moon reflects the light of the sun. But we see different shapes of the moon each night. Let's find out why this happens. While the Earth revolves around the sun, at the same time, the moon revolves around the Earth. This revolution of the moon makes it look like the moon changes its shape. The change in the way it looks happens because of its change in its position as it moves around the Earth. These different shapes of the moon are called the phases of the moon. Let's understand this with a simple experiment. Let's assume that the light is the sun and ball A is the moon, and you're standing in front of the ball. When we switch on the light, you will be able to see the ball lit up and the ball looks round. Now, suppose you change your position and stand a little away from the light. How do you think the ball will appear? The side of the ball that faces the light looks bright, while the other half looks dark, and therefore we cannot see it. Or we can say it is not visible. Only half of the ball is visible. The same thing happens when we see the moon. The side of the moon that faces the sun looks bright, while the side facing away from the sun looks dark. It all depends on where you're seeing it from and how much sunlight is falling on the moon. This means that when we look at the moon from the Earth, we only see the bright side of the moon. The dark side is not visible. The bright moon is called a full moon. As the moon revolves around the Earth, at one point it appears full. Then some part of it appears dark. As it moves further towards the sun, it looks half and begins to appear smaller. Since the sun facing the Earth does not receive any light from the sun. And finally, when the moon is between the sun and the Earth, the side facing the Earth becomes totally dark and we see no moon. The dark side of the moon is called the new moon. As the moon continues to revolve around the Earth, we see it reappear. Once again, it looks half, then 3/4, until finally it looks full again. Although the moon looks very bright at night, you cannot live on the moon. Do you know why? This is because there is no air or water on the moon. We know this because of two astronauts, Neil Armstrong and Edwin Aldrin. These astronauts were the first humans to step on the moon. They landed on the moon on July 20th, 1969. The spaceship Columbia of Apollo 11 mission of USA carried these astronauts and their spacecraft named Eagle close to the moon. When Aldrin and Armstrong walked on the moon, a third astronaut, Michael Collins, circled the moon in the spaceship. All three astronauts returned safely to Earth. We know a lot about the moon because of astronauts who have traveled to the moon.
All right, children.